So for all my girlies who live in the southern hemisphere, you know we are currently going through summer. So we are all having winter FOMO. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Laurie and today I'm going to give you summer book recommendations. So I'm going to start with fantasy summer books. These are just some fantasy books that I kind of think have summer vibes. In general, I do think fantasy is more of a winter genre, but I did find some on my shelf that I thought kind of had a more summer vibe. So first we have The House on the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. This book follows Linus Baker, who works at the department in charge of magical youth. So in this book there are magical youth and they are usually sent to orphanages. And this time Linus is sent to an especially dangerous orphanage with especially dangerous children. But once he arrives there he realizes that the children aren't that dangerous at all. And there is a romance with the head of the orphanage, so him and Linus. And the kids in this book are really cute. It's very, very heartwarming, very much found family vibes, and it kind of takes place in summer. So there's a lot of playing outside with the kids and stuff. There's a lot of long summer evenings kind of vibes, and it's a really sweet, heartfelt, heartwarming book that I would definitely recommend. Then we have The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. This follows Achilles and Patroclus all throughout their childhood and into their early teenage years and early youth and stuff. It is Greek mythology, so it takes place in Greece, obviously. It mostly focuses around Achilles and Patroclus' romance? I don't know how to say this. Romance. This has a lot of summer vibes. There is very much this is going to sound silly, but if I was going to describe the kind of vibes that this book gives off, I would say it gives off olive vibes. And that's going to sound really, really stupid, but I swear, if you read this, you'll know what I mean. It just gives olive. I don't know if that sounds stupid, but it makes sense to me. But yeah, this is a really, really sweet romance. Very, very sad. Yeah, highly recommend. And it mostly does take place over long, long summers. I don't really recall there being any winter scenes in here, so this is a great read for summer. And by the same author, we have Circe, which follows Circe, who is the daughter of Helios, who is the god of sun. So already there's kind of a summer vibe. And she threatens the gods, so she is banished to an island where she lives out her life. So she kind of spends her life on the island, taming wild beasts and picking berries and casting spells. It says, "Yet a woman who stands alone cannot live in peace for long, and among her island's guests is an unexpected visitor." So guests can come to her island, I think, but she just can't leave the island. So this is also kind of a romance, but also just a story of this woman, Circe, and it's a really, really good book, and I highly recommend. Then we have The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. Now, this is a high fantasy, so it's a very long, very complicated book, and there's a lot of political intrigue and stuff. There are 4 main characters whose POVs we get, so 4 different POVs. And yes, it's a very, very long book. It's nearly 1,000 pages, I think. It's 800 or 900 pages or something. But because the book is so long and takes place over so many years, you kind of get all of this season throughout of it. But I think the main overarching vibe of the book is summer. So even though we do get winter scenes and spring scenes and autumn scenes, I think kind of the overwhelming theme of the book is more summery. And obviously there's dragons in this book, so what more could you want? And there's also a really sweet romance. Then obviously you can't mention summer books without mentioning Percy Jackson. Obviously this takes place in a summer camp, a literal summer camp, so it's perfect. If you don't know what Percy Jackson is, it's Greek mythology again, and Percy is the son of Poseidon, so all of the kind of half-bloods, they're called, go to Camp Half-Blood in the summer. And that's where they live, and they train, and they battle, and they sing songs around the campfire, and it's really sweet and really heartwarming and very, very good. I highly recommend this entire series. If you haven't heard of Percy Jackson, where have you been? Please read this, it's very good. Then I have some YA romance, so this is for ages 13+, but obviously I'm going to put individual age ratings and trigger warnings here. So first up we have Love and Gelato by Jenna Evans Welch. This takes place in Italy, and it follows Lena, who is spending the summer in Tuscany fulfilling her mother's dying wish that she should get to know her father. Her father lives in a graveyard, which makes for a very, very interesting kind of space where she's living. And obviously this is a romance, so she meets a boy, and it's a magical world of secret romance, art and hidden bakeries. People come to Italy for love and gelato, but sometimes they discover much more. So this is really cute. I just poked myself in the eye, jeez Louise. This is a really, really cute, clean, sweet summer romance. Obviously they have like ice cream, walking along the river and stuff, walking along the canal, the river. I don't know. I just remember there being ice cream in rivers. Does anyone else like read a book and then immediately forget everything, or is that just me? Like, I know the basic like plot of it, but if I read this again, I would be just as excited as the first time. Which is actually kind of a good thing, I guess. It's just not that good when you are trying to like give book recommendations or book reviews and then you're like, actually, what did I read? Then we have The Summer of Lost Letters by Hannah Reynolds. This follows Abby, who is travelling to Nantucket. Her grandmother is recently deceased and she finds a box of old letters that her grandma wrote to someone. She just doesn't know who that someone is, but she does know that they used to live in Nantucket. So she travels to Nantucket for the summer. She's staying with friends or something, I think, or with family maybe. I can't really remember. So as she is looking for who owns these letters and stuff, she meets a boy, obviously. They go... Oh, the romance in this is so sweet. There's like old bookstores, they go on a trip, which kind of, and they have to like stay in the same room or hotel, which is really cute. And there's this one scene where they're all on a boat with all of their friends, which is hilarious. I love that scene so much. I really want to read this soon. And so yeah, that's The Summer of Lost Letters. Then obviously you can't mention a YA summer romance without mentioning The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. Now, I didn't like this book so much personally, but I think it's just because I was too old when I read it. I think this is more for like 11, 12, maybe even 13-year-olds. I did read this when I was 15 or 16, so by that time I was kind of a bit old for it and it did seem a bit immature, if you know what I mean. But I did actually continue reading the series for the summer vibes alone. So this follows Belly and she goes every year to her family's beach house. It's called like Cousins Beach, I think. They're not cousins though, thank goodness, because that would be really weird. I think they're like family friends or something. And so every year they go to Cousins Beach and it's this huge old beach house right on the beach, so they're like surfing, campfires, and obviously she is having a romance. Now the romance is the bit that I did find kind of a little bit silly and a little bit immature, but trust that this is good just for the summer vibes alone. Then lastly we have Better Than the Movies by Liz Painter. I recommend this book to anyone and everyone. I loved it, my little sister loved it. If you don't like this book, there's something wrong with you. So this follows Liz and Wes, who are neighbours, but they have also been rivals since they were children. And Liz wants help getting her crush to ask her to prom, so her and Wes make a deal that Wes is going to get her crush to ask her out, or help her win her crush's attention, something like that. Anyway, it's really, really cute. It's very feels summery. I love the cover of this book because it's all like iconic moments from romance films, like rom-coms. So I really like the cover of this, and this is really sweet, really cute. Love the boy in this. Definitely one of my favourite book boyfriends I've ever read. Wes, I love you. Well, that's actually not how the kids are doing the hearts these days. Give me a second, because I literally cannot bend my fingers this way. Thumbnail! Then we have my adult romances, so this is more ages 16, 17 plus. Obviously, again, I'm going to put individual age ratings. Obviously, you can't talk about a summer romance without talking about Emily Henry. She is the queen of summer romances, and I need her to put out a new book ASAP. Like, I need a new book. I need a new Emily Henry. Like, on a deep, like, spiritual level, I need one. So, anyway, I'm just quickly going to go through all of the, like, plot summaries of these. Happy Place follows Harriet and Wynne, who have broken up 6 months ago, but they haven't told any of their friends. And every year, them and their friends take an annual summer trip. So they are faking it for the next week. I don't know why they didn't tell their friends. Like, I'm still confused about the fact that they didn't tell their friends that they broke up. But they end up rekindling their love on their weekend away. Then we have Book Lovers, which follows Nora and Charlie. Charlie is an editor and Nora is a literary agent. And they are nemesis. They don't like each other. So they both individually decide to go to this town to kind of reset and stuff, because they've both been through like difficult times or something like that. I don't know. And they keep bumping into each other and then they fall in love. Then we have Beach Read, which follows January and Gus. January is a romance writer and then Gus is a more like thriller mystery writer, so opposite ends of the spectrum. He is kind of like the more dark, like emotionally unavailable type, if you know what I mean. But they both are struggling with writer's block, so they both go on holiday to try and get over their writer's block, but they end up right next to each other, and then they make a pact to write each other's books. So Gus is going to write the romance, and then January is going to write the mystery thriller, and obviously they end up falling in love. Very cute. You and Me on Vacation follows Poppy and Alex, who have been best friends for like over 10 years. 2 years ago something went wrong and they didn't speak to each other again. But now Poppy asks Alex to join her on one last trip. Could this trip make them realise they're not just friends after all? Spoiler, they weren't just friends. They fall in love. Very cute. Okay, that was a quick speed run of the Emily Henry books. Then we have some Taylor Jenkins Reid books. We have Malibu Rising, which is kind of historical fiction. I mean, I wouldn't class it as a historical fiction, but that's what Google classes it at, so I'm just going to say it's a historical fiction. It takes place in the 1980s and it follows 4 siblings. So it kind of flashes back to 1950 when their parents fell in love, and then it flashes forward to 1980 where the siblings are holding their annual like summer party, which gets wildly out of control every year, this year especially. The eldest sibling is like a professional surfer. They actually all surf, but one of them is a model, one of them is a photographer. I really relate to this book a lot, and I relate to the main character a lot, so it's amazing how in like such a short, like this book is only about like 350 pages. It's amazing how this author can make you feel so much for each individual character over such like a short amount of time and pages. Then also by Taylor Jenkins Reid we have Carrie Soto is Back, which follows Carrie Soto, who is a retired professional tennis player, and she is about to watch someone steal her world record for tennis something or other. So she starts training again with her dad, who is her coach, to win back her world record. This isn't like specifically set in summer or something, but I think the overwhelming feel of this book is summer. And then lastly we have The Summer Switch Off by Beth Reekles, I don't know, who also wrote The Kissing Booth, interestingly enough. This wasn't like an out-of-the-world, like 5-star incredible read for me. It was just more like a quick, easy summer read just to get through fast. It follows 3 best friends. I don't know why I just held up a 4. It follows 3 best friends who are going on a holiday, but it's like a digital detox holiday. So they are going without the phones for the whole week, and obviously there is romance. They end up falling in love. Not the 3 best friends. They fall in love with their separate people. Anyway, that's just like a cute, quick summer read if you need one. Then I don't really know what to classify these books as. I think they're kind of just random. There are like 3 I haven't read and then 2 I have read. So I'll go through the ones I have read first. I have We Were Liars, obviously. Every year this entire family goes to their private island where they have a private beach house, or beach houses actually. They're very rich. It's kind of a very rich people drama book. But the ending is really sad. There is like plot twists and stuff, a lot of heartbreak and things happen. It's very twisty. The narrative of the book is kind of unreliable, so you don't really know what's real and what's not. Or at least that's how I felt while I was reading it. But obviously this takes place in summer, beach houses. And then the other one I've read is Another Life by Kristen Hanna. This book is like gut-wrenching. I can't even describe it to you. It follows Angie, who has recently divorced from her husband because they've been struggling to have children for years and years, and it just like got to them, so they ended up divorcing. And so Angie moves back to her hometown to help run the family restaurant. And then we have another POV, who is 17-year-old Lauren. She has the same name as me. So we follow 17-year-old Lauren, who lives in a bad part of town, and she like has kind of an absent mother and stuff. So Lauren and Angie end up forming this really sweet kind of mother-daughter vibe relationship, and Lauren kind of ends up healing Angie and kind of becomes her replacement child. So it's a really sweet, heartwarming book, and obviously Angie lives like in a little beach hut on the beach, so summer vibes again. Yeah, I really enjoyed this book. Then to the books I haven't read, we have My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante. I did read this to about halfway through, but honestly I just don't think it was the right like vibe for me. I wasn't really enjoying it this much. But you follow 2 best friends all throughout their lives. There are like 4 books in this series, so you follow, I think this follows them from when they're like 5 years old to around their early 20s maybe. I did really enjoy the kind of vibe of the book. It just wasn't the story that I was that interested in, but I do think a lot of other people will enjoy it. Bitter Orange by Claire Fuller, who is about this girl... No, it's not. Hold on. I think it's about like it says glamorous bohemian couple. I have heard that this is... Oh, she recalls the relationship they forged through sweltering days, lavish dinners, and elaborate lies. and the Judas hole through which she would spy on the couple. So I don't actually know what this is about, but obviously looking at the cover, it looks kind of summery vibes, and I have heard that said again that this is summery vibes. So I haven't read it. I will let you know what it's like when I do, but yeah. Also, we have A Theatre for Dreamers by Polly Sampson, who follows Erica, who is 18 and ready for freedom. So she goes to a Greek island. It's the 1960s, and she's swept up in a circle of bohemian poets, painters, musicians, writers, and artists living tangled lives. So it's kind of bohemian, like hippie kind of vibes, I think. Again, I haven't read this, but just from the back of the book, I think that it sounds kind of summery, so I'm going to recommend it anyway. Then lastly, I just have a couple of classics. Black Beauty, which is a book from the perspective of a horse called Black Beauty, obviously. If you don't know about Black Beauty, where have you been? This is one of my childhood staples. I loved this book as a kid. And yeah, you basically follow Black Beauty through his entire life. It's a very sad, very also heartwarming story, because in the beginning, I feel like it kind of gives the most summer vibes at the beginning of the book, when he's a foal and he's like galloping around in his field with his little horsey friends. It's really cute. Another book about animals, we have Watership Down, which is told from the perspective of bunnies. This is a really, really like tragic book. Like, it's actually kind of a tragedy. Like, it's really sad. But again, we just have like happy little bunnies frolicking through the fields, and then some very bad things happen to those bunnies, but it's fine. It's fine. And then last book recommendation, we have Heidi by Jana Sparry. If you don't know the story of Heidi, where have you been? Because this was my entire childhood. The movies, the little series they have, the book. I cannot talk enough about Heidi. Do y'all know the song? Heidi, Heidi, jag värld die Berge. Anyway, I just sang it in Afrikaans, I'm sorry. Obviously it's about a little girl Heidi who goes to live on the Swiss Alps with her grandfather, and they have long summers there, and there's goats, and she has her friend. I was gonna say friends, but it's a friend. And yeah, there's Heidi with a goat. I hope this video helped you out with some recommendations for this summer. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe, and comment down below any other book recommendations you have for summer. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.